High Plains Technology Center, turning education and training into workplace success.
Oh, back to school, to prove to Dad that I'm not a fool.
High Plains Technology Center, education at the speed of business. School is now in session.
Here we are. Good Wednesday morning. Thank you to Lesson pre-recording last week. And it's going to be tough to top that with Adam and Keegan. Might go down as one of the best shows ever. And we'll throw in Miss Lasley as well. But this week I've got an extra special guest also. You know, here we are, sunshine and rainbows. Everything is, the weather is turning upon us. And it's my guest is, I'm going to let him introduce himself. The one and only. Who are you?
Barclay Holt. Start to say Fred Flintstone within.
Yeah, you could act like you're Fred Flintstone and no one would ever know. But then the voice would come out and it'd kind of be pretty obvious, wouldn't it?
Would be Fred.
So we've had a lot of things going on at the school. You know, we had an event not too long ago, but I felt like we couldn't really talk about it, and I wanted to talk about it with Barclay. That's how busy we've been. And by the way, the plant sale was one of the most successful plant sales that we've ever had. Kudos to the community and surrounding communities once again for making that special. And really, like we said last week, if you didn't hear, that goes towards those students, and that's what it's all about. So they can go and have fun and compete, and they are competing this week, even going down to Tulsa. So, they are today, I believe. So, yeah.
Stay busy this time of year.
No question. It is definitely I don't know. What do you think the busiest month is at our job? I was thinking of that the other day.
I don't know, like job-wise, but with the kids and everything,
it's
easily April.
Yeah. And then I feel like our job-wise, it really starts in April and doesn't end until right after August 1st, kind of, don't you think?
Yeah, sure enough, the summer.
So, all right. So, Mr. Holt and I wanted to have him come on because we had an event at the school. We had one of the best things to ever happen to us, and I've been there 15 years. You've been there almost 15 years. Why don't you explain what kind of transpired about a couple weeks ago?
We had a building donated to us by the Alexanders. Bobby and Brenda approached us about a year ago, and the dance studio, Brenda's dance studio, and donated that building to High Plains. And we actually dedicated that building back on April 3rd. Time flies, been a couple weeks now. But a significant event for High Plains, something that we're going to not only very humbling to get a donation like that we then dedicated, but the thing that plays right into what we've been wanting to do and to build post-secondary opportunities, and hopefully that building helps kind of project that.
You know, it's pretty crazy because, you know, we centered it around the building, and that's the way that was the thing that really has we were talking about this, but maybe one of the largest donations Career Tech as a whole has ever gotten.
Yes. I mean, as far as absolutely probably, I mean, it probably is the largest in terms of a significant donation. But, you know, just what it means to Career Tech and what it means to the entire system. I think Director Haken talked about that some, but just that, you know, where it's headed and what we're doing for young people, and then to be that it's being seen, that somebody like Brenda and Bobby see that this is an area that really young people could take advantage of to a higher degree in Northwest Oklahoma if this could happen. And I think as a system across the state, that's being seen and being taken advantage of, probably just more on the forefront than it has been ever. So really, really big deal for us and them.
And folks, if you see them around town, I mean, their vision for thinking of us and thinking that we are doing things the right way enough to do something like this, tell them thanks, because thanks is not enough. From all of our staff and all our constituents and all our surrounding communities and everything, because it's not only impacting Woodward County, it's impacting all of our counties as well that we represent, all our sending schools, because we do have a vision.
And even abroad from that,
You're right.
I mean, even member of our school or not, just the opportunities, if our vision comes to fruition, we're going to see this benefit a lot of Northwest Oklahoma, the tri-state area. Is going to be able to enjoy this and something that hopefully will pay dividends for not only just in terms of for the education, but the economic development factor of that for students to retain our kids and then be able to come back here in some trade or I mean, kind of sky's the limit on what we could do.
Because Barclay, if you talk about things, when you talk about our vision with that building, it's something that we've talked about before on the radio, but a lot of people probably might not have heard it or, might have forgotten about it. When we talk about this building, there's an impact and there's a vision that we have.
Yeah, absolutely. It plays right into a post-secondary type track thing that what we want to do is like locally driven. The nearest I could probably relate it to is something like OSU Okmulgee Tech that's there at Okmulgee that people talk about. And those programs there are run by some very big industries across the United States. We really want this to be focused very locally so that our students can see, our area young people can see that if they come in there, they can do something that puts them to work in a specific business locally, and that specific business or groupings of businesses that may be doing liking things, whether it be in the trades, electrical HVAC, plumbing, or if it be in the oil and gas energy sector, say it could be industrial maintenance type of jobs, that those are geared towards and driven by local businesses that then are going to hire those young people when they come out. That's the same idea that like an OSU Tech does, but they do it where those kids may or may not be coming back locally. They're coming, they may be going to Dallas, they may be going elsewhere, and our idea would be to train and retain them here.
Because, we talk about it all the time. We feel like you have to grow your own and give them an example and a place to be.
Me and you've had that talk 1,000 times that and I've heard Taylor, you said it, like that we're probably not hitting a home run of somebody dropping 100 jobs in here tomorrow. But if we could take 20 of our young people and disperse them into 5 different businesses that are doing the liking thing and they were trained for that, those are the kind of base hits we could help keep building things that are around here.
And because we all know, where we are, and if you give some training and they go to the training and they're from here, odds are they're going to stay here.
100%.
I mean, that's the key.
I think that if we get them, and me and you have had this talk, and we've talked with a lot of business leaders here recently, that keeping them here upon graduation from high school is a lot easier, than getting them back. It's also easier to get them on a path to success and show them that path when they're 18 to 20 than it is to let them go off, do something till they're 25, and then hope to get them back and maybe have to train some bad habits out of them. So,
and that's a big hope at that, because I know there's some apprehension, some companies hiring at young people at times, but you go to that a lot.
But from your vision point and your vantage point there, I mean, I know Taylor, you've talked about it and you might even address that, how you've seen that shift a little bit.
No question. Yeah, because like you said, you don't have those bad habits that are ingrained in them. And it's tough to break a bad habit. It's one of the hardest things to do. And, I love a lot of times you and I have talked with the analogy of we're not the magic bullet. We're not the silver bullet. We're not going to be that. But how many times have you and I sit there and had that discussion and our staff really thinking about, we've got to do something for this area because there's nothing more than you and I hate when someone has to go somewhere else and get training that we don't offer.
Right. And it happens. I mean, we're a little space limited, but probably more than that, we're probably limited on our structure for years has not allowed it to happen. And that's where this post-secondary opportunity, the flexibility we have on that side would be a huge advantage. And I mean, people look at the WIN program and they, talk about the most successful WIN program in the United States is right here, but that thing started as a short-term type program.
Yes.
And so that's another part of our thing that we think we can do is start things out, try them a little bit before you have to buy them and incur all the expense. So
Yeah, because, there are a lot of, when we say we're not the magic bullet, because there are a lot of things that we want to train on. We just don't have the capabilities. Like you said, space is the number one thing. Instructors is the number two thing, but we're going to get that figured out. And we might try something, because the WIN program was not way successful at the beginning at its inception. It became that towards the end, and it really, towards the middle, was not, but you give it 3 years and look at what it's grown into. We will grow something out of one of these things and give someone another path.
And those that may not understand out there, by us running it on the short-term side, we can troubleshoot it on that side.
Yes.
And I think the understanding we've got now is we've seen it work a couple times on the health side and then also on the wind side. And why couldn't it work in electrical HVAC? Why couldn't it work in industrial maintenance? It could work in every area, and I think our staff understands that's how we're going to go. And we've got a lot of the components when you talk about instructor wise are sitting there on our staff.
Yes,
we don't necessarily have to go elsewhere to get them. We may have to go elsewhere to get some of them, but not all of it. A lot of times,
and it's just cool and neat to be able to think about this. That now it's that opportunity and that vision. It's real.
Yeah, it
we're not talking about a what if anymore. We're talking about when now.
Yeah.
Now, not saying it's going to be tomorrow.
Right.
But it is going, because I'd sit in that room and I said, the last thing I'm going to do in my tenure is to let Bobby and Brenda Alexander down. I'm just not going to, because I think that they believed in us enough, and I'm going to dang well do everything I can to show them that this is going to be a vision.
And it's hard to swing. It's hard to swing big. But I think that's, I've visited with a lot of those guys, and Bobby said it is why not Northwest Oklahoma? We've been passed over on a lot of things, and I think that's got some momentum there too that hasn't always had. And I think people, I guess kind of speak it into fruition. We're kind of, we've done that. We're kind of talking it into reality a little bit.
It's been a vision of ours since we were doing strategic plans way back when, and here it is. It's staring us right in the mouth. And I just love, listening to Brenda about the building that it's really her building that she donated, and Bobby's idea and their plan and their thinking. And, it's unbelievable, and it's pretty neat. What a day. The governor was here for about 4 hours. Director Haken was here for more than that. All the representatives were here. Nellie Sanders was here. I mean, you talk about the day that really encompassed. And then, last week we had the lieutenant governor here for about 3 hours. It's 4 hours.
Another event that doesn't get mentioned all the time, but the lieutenant governor's turkey hunt last week. And I mean, I think, you've said it 100 times, Taylor, about those guys making a commitment to be in Woodward in the area. And I mean, the governor to give us a half a day, and then the lieutenant governor to make this one of his stops.
And he will be here hunting next year.
Yeah, and doesn't happen all the time.
It's so cool. And once again, it's a testament to our community and our surrounding communities, because it's not just our community that we're involved in this. Our surrounding communities that we're here because of these things, and our biggest politicians think of that. And that's very, very special, wherever you stand on the side of politics. And
the breadth of people we have that are on, I mean, pulling on the same rope, trying to make this happen, not for selfish reasons, but for the good of the area,
for the greater good.
Yep,
that's one of my favorite sayings.
You're all about that, aren't you?
I am. I say it all the time, and I actually heard one of my friends that I'm on a board with, Ryan Hayes, say it.
You're on board?
Yeah, I'm on board.
So, I didn't know that.
And one thing, speaking of which, too, that's neat about our community while we're wrapping up. Anything else you want to add to it?
No.
Okay.
Well.
Kid Win Challenge is actually going to be here this Friday on our campus. And those that aren't familiar, I'm going to give a special shout out to Mr. Reevesdorf and his class, because he represents the state of Oklahoma a lot as he competes in Oklahoma and then goes on to the national stage. And he is one of the greatest minds that I've met. He really has buy-in from his high school students.
My feelings are hurt.
I know, for sure. Well, mine aren't, because it's the truth, because my daughter told me all the time, Sophie. But what they do with their class, and then they go on to compete at the national level, and it's a Kid Win Challenge. They're actually they're really STEM related, whether they know it or not. Mm-hmm. Those FFA kids are doing things whether they know it or not. Those other kids in science class are doing things whether they know it or not. They're doing some engineering and architect and design, and they are seeing what will withstand. They're going to do some. It's going to be an academy all day as well as the challenge, and the state chose it to have it on our campus. And it's going to be out there Friday from 9 to 2. Come by and see if you want to know anything about wind, because there's going to be dignitaries all around there as well for the wind not dignitaries from the state level, but dignitaries in the wind companies as well. And it'll be a fun day. I know that oil and gas is king, and as it should be in our area, but without wind in our territory, where would we be? So, okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, everybody have a great week, and we will see you. The end of the year is approaching us
quickly.
Quickly. Yep. All right. We'll see you next week.